Harry's Wife, Part 97.17, Car Window Privacy. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, continuing to educate you about narcissism using the high-profile example of Harry's wife. And of course, we have something of a bean feast with the Platinum Jubilee and her attendance at it. One notable example, to understand more about her narcissism in action, concerns, of course, the arrival in the vehicle, with apparently the blacked out windows, and so there's the privacy glass. I'm not sure if it was bulletproof or such like. But of course, as we know, that Harry had sued the British government over concerns about not having suitable levels of security being provided. They've come with their own security team, and they've made a big song and dance about the fears that they're going to be attacked by legions of middle-aged white women wielding rotten eggs and tomatoes. Come the revolution, Now, of course, as you know, Harry's wife plays up these security concerns, driven by her own paranoia, because it enables her to assert control. It enables her to assert control, on the one hand, by staying away from the United Kingdom, by saying, I don't want to go there. They're all crazy. They are bigoted racists that are going to come out with their pitchforks and torches, chanting, burn the witch, burn the witch, burn the witch. So I'm not going there. That enables her to dole out a pity play and stay in a position of withdrawal. It also means, of course, that should she attend, and she has, she turns up with a large security detail so that everybody's looking in that direction. Witness, for example, when she turned up at Uvalde. She turned up with some guerrilla accompanying her and with all of the photographers. She couldn't help but be noticed despite her supposed attempts to dress down. Typical behaviour of a mid-range narcissist. The contradictory behaviours of, I don't want to be seen, but you bet you I actually do. Her narcissism drives her to want to be seen, because by being seen it allows her to assert control over people and draw in all of that delicious fuel. Accordingly, there has been the attendance at the Platinum Jubilee, and Harry and Harry's wife were invited to watch the Trooping the Colour. We have two different reports of their behaviour, which of course demonstrates quite usefully the different perspectives about these two individuals. First, we'll deal with the pro-Harry's wife piece, which unsurprisingly comes from the Mirror, which has clearly taken the PR dollars and to suck on that particular teat, and then from the Daily Express, which really does not like Harry's wife and repeatedly rips into her. Let us begin, first of all, with the Mirror's report about the car window privacy. The article is by Zoe Forsey and Rosaline Fenton. Harry's wife and Harry wind down blacked-out windows to wave at Queen's Jubilee crowds. Well, it would appear this actually happened and has been reported by both a pro-paper and an anti-paper, and there are photographs and videos of it happening. It's worth mentioning that as a consequence of the boo video that I put out yesterday, there have been some responses of Epsilon's semi-moron Sugars denying that the boos took place. Admittedly, at first they might be a little bit difficult to hear, but they soon become apparent, and those that claim that they can't hear really need to go and book a hearing test. Then there were those who were claiming that the booing was for Boris Johnson. Well, Boris Johnson was booed, but as one individual commented on the video, that Boris Johnson was right behind Harry's wife and Harry, and it was actually the booing for them and not for Harry and Harry's wife. No. If you watch the footage, you can see that the people behind them are actually Zara and Mike Tyndall and some other people whose names are not familiar to me, but it's certainly not Boris and Carrie Johnson. And therefore, for that individual to state that the boos were for Boris Johnson because he was immediately behind them demonstrates, most likely, that this individual is a shugger and has read that there were boos for Boris Johnson, and rather than actually go to the evidence, which is something that I always encourage you to do when handling the situation with a narcissist, assess the evidence, not speculation, not what emotional thinking causes you to think, but go to the evidence. And instead of going to that evidence of actually watching the footage and seeing that Boris Johnson was nowhere near Harry's wife, and Harry, as they exited St. Paul's Cathedral, this Epsilon semi-moron simply states, oh, no, the booing was for Boris Johnson. There was booing for Boris Johnson, but there was separate booing also. Furthermore, you'll see the observations of those that say it was a boo track that was being used. Right you are. So all of the news outlets that reported on the booing all decided to go and find a boo track that they downloaded from some provider, and they all happened to use the same boo track. How extraordinary. Could it actually be? The more simple explanation is they were being booed, and of course it was. But it again demonstrates the level of delusion that exists amongst those of a shugger persuasion that attempt to maintain that there is some kind of conspiracy against Harry's wife and Harry. No, people were booing. The other one, of course, that gets trotted out with tedious regularity is that booing is racist. Right, okay. So those that make that allegation, have you actually seen the people who were doing the booing? No, because you can't on the videos. Therefore, how do you know they're racist? They might all be black people booing Harry's wife. You don't know. Furthermore, let us assume it's white people, because there are mainly white people in the United Kingdom, and they are booing. Is it racist? Well, they're booing Harry as well, and he's white, so explain that to me. The fact is, they're being booed on their behaviours, and it's nothing to do with race, but these clowns love to make it about race, because they just play that card as a Pavlovian knee-jerk reaction because they lack the forensic intelligence to put up a sustainable argument. It's worth making those points in relation to the examination of the evidence. Here, it's accepted that the window was wound down. There was no tampering with the footage or false photographs put out about it. It's accepted this took place. So what does the Mirror have to say about it? Harry's wife and Prince Harry were all smiles as they arrived in London for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Trooping the Colour. Despite now having a role in the official event, they were invited, I think they meant to write, despite not having a role in the official event. You need to proofread there, Zoe Forsey and Rosaline Fenton. Despite not having a role in the official event, they were invited to watch the spectacular military procession from a room at the Horse Guards. They sat side by side in the back of a Range Rover with blacked-out windows, but they wound them down to wave and smile at well-wishers. Harry's wife could be seen wearing a navy dress and a stunning white statement hat with a navy bow. Unlike his royal relatives, Prince Harry wasn't dressed in his military uniform, but instead looked smart in a dark suit. Emily Sevenoaks, 28, of London, who took the photo and was suitably bunged, told the Mirror it was pretty uneventful. I'd heard the police bike escorts blowing the whistles, so I dashed over and I got my camera on ready as they whizzed past. It all happened very quickly, to be quite honest, but it was amazing to see some royals up close. They were spotted through the Horse Guards' windows during the trooping event, with Harry's wife mucking around some of the royal children. Again, you need to do some proofreading here. Mucking around some of the royal children, including Mike and Zara Tyndall's daughter, Mia. She was seen jokingly sashing them during the festivities. Something, of course, that I have addressed in a separate video. There's more, which is really talking about the basis of their return and having a private meeting with the Queen, etc., for Lilibet's birthday, which we don't need to focus on for today. So this is a favourable report that the window was wound down, and of course we see in the picture there is Harry's wife with the fixed grin, as always, lapping up the fuel. Now, of course, why would she wind down the window? To be seen, in order to assert control by smiling, so it's a benign form of hoover against all of those watching, and to receive the fuel from their waving and cheering and well-wishing. It isn't done because she genuinely cares about these people, although, of course, her narcissism causes her to believe that she does. It's done simply to gain those prime aims once again. Now, let's move on to what the Express has to say about it. And unsurprisingly, Harry's wife gets a bit of a shoeing from the Express, as one would expect, in an article by Lauren Welch. They want to be seen. Harry and Harry's wife's privacy demands questioned after rolling window. Prince Harry and Harry's wife's privacy demands have been questioned after a couple whined car windows down during Jubilee celebrations. Prince Harry and Harry's wife have made their first public appearance in the United Kingdom since deciding to step down from their senior positions in the firm in 2020. Speaking to Talk TV, Angela Levin discussed the couple's visit to the UK and in particular their decision to wind the window down, despite their ongoing privacy concerns. Ms. Levin said, "I was very angry when they wound the window down of the car that they were carrying in. That was a blackout window, and they wound that down and waved out of the window so everyone would see." She added, "They are people that fought for more security, the utmost security, yet they were happy to wind the window down and wave. Why are they doing that?" She noted that Harry had previously said he felt like he was in a zoo when he was in the royal family. So what was he doing, waving out of the car to all of the people watching him? Ms. Levin added, "Why would you want to do that if you hate being in a zoo and you think that's what you've been as a member of the royal family?" She described it as horrible. The royal biographer added, "Harry's wife's there with a huge hat. What was she celebrating? She's absolutely trashed the royal family. She's made it very, very difficult for all the senior members who actually have the discipline not to fight back." In April, the Duke and Duchess were absent from the memorial service for Harry's late grandfather, Prince Philip. The service, which was held almost a year after his death, aged 99, was attended by nearly 2,000 guests. Although there wasn't any statement released, the reason noted as to why Prince Harry chose not to attend was the Duke's security concerns for his family, which have led him to launch a case against the Home Office. Harry has previously said that it would be unsafe for him and his family to return to the United Kingdom without having police protection officers in attendance. Angela Levin points out, quite reasonably, if you're concerned about security, why on earth are you winding down the windows? If you're concerned about your privacy, why are you ensuring that you'll be seen? And of course, the simple answer is, this is the contradiction of the narcissist, whereby Harry's wife can scream and chunter about needing security and privacy, but then cast that to one side when it suits her and not see that there's any hypocrisy or contradiction in that behaviour. When it suits her to dismiss security concerns, she's allowed to do so. When she wants to play on those security concerns, she's allowed to do so. And of course, this hypocrisy, contrarian nature, and of course the need to assert control and draw fuel by winding that window down on the Range Rover was just typical behaviour of Harry's wife, and yet more evidence of how she has to make it all about her, driven in the needs of the prime aims. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.